Hi everyone, Christina here, and I am so happy to be back with you today in a new video. Today I'm going to be answering the question, what is the best blender? And we're going to dive straight into comparing the new Vitamix ONE with the Vitamix Ascent series A3500. I know some of you might be noticing right now that I'm in a new setting, and I promise I'm going to be explaining all of that in a future video with some new updates soon, so stay tuned. But today, I first want to dive into this blender comparison video. I've just been so excited about the release of the new Vitamix ONE. Most of you know, I believe most of you know, that I have been using the Ascend Vitamix A3500 for years now. Some of you might even say that I'm extremely biased coming into this video comparison because this is my favorite blender of all time. There's nothing this blender cannot do. Vitamix is known to hold the golden standard of all blenders. So of course, when they come out with a new version that is said to do almost everything that this one can do, but $400 less, of course, I want to give it a try. And I'm sure some of you are asking some of the same questions as me. So we're going to dive into this comparison video, and I am so excited. Both of the blenders that I'm going to be using today are Vitamix blenders. I truly believe that Vitamix creates the best of the best when it comes to blending. They have been making blenders since before I was born, and they've truly mastered the technique of being able to create a machine that does everything in the kitchen. I do not know what I would do without my Vitamix blender. I think I've said in previous videos that if I had to run out of my house with one kitchen appliance, if my house were on fire, one of those terrible things like that, that I'd grab my Vitamix because it's the one kitchen appliance I literally cannot live without. I use it 3 to 4 times a day, whether to make my smoothies, my nice creams, my salad dressings, nut milks, the list goes on and on. You can do everything with the Vitamix blender. For those of you who want to get a new blender, or if you're interested in purchasing a Vitamix blender, I've included both the links for each of these machines below. And if you use my special link below in the description, you will automatically get a special discount at checkout along with free shipping for $50 or more. Vitamix has so graciously sent me the Vitamix ONE to test and compare and give my honest feedback to them. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is actually my first time using the blender. My first time using it on camera and comparing it to my favorite blender of all time. Now I know that because this is my favorite blender, I might appear to be just a tad bit biased going into this discussion, but I promise I am so excited to see what this machine can do. Not only am I going to be discussing and breaking down the differences for each of these blenders, but I'm also going to be testing out 2 recipes, the exact same recipe in each blender, and doing a full comparison of how it works, the performance, the quality, the taste test, all of that. So this is gonna be epic. Are you ready? Let's jump in. Most of you have already seen the Ascend series on the Vitamix website if you're a Vitamix fan. This is the A3500 model. It's sold for $650 approximately, and it comes in black, white, silver, a bunch of other cool colors. This blender does everything. It's their top of the line blender, the one that does it all. I'm not kidding when I say there's nothing that this machine cannot do. It really is an all-in-one machine. For those of you not familiar with Vitamix blenders, each one of their motors is actually a horsepower motor. It is so strong, it can pulverize anything. These machines can be used not only to make smoothies, but also to blend up tough vegetables so that you can make juice, you can make really hearty dressings, dips, nut butters, you can grind grains in here, you can make nut milks. I do everything in this blender, and this blender in particular has programmed settings that makes it easy for you to just push one button and it will do exactly what you want it to do. The A3500 also comes with a 64-ounce container. This, in my opinion, is a big draw because I'm always making huge smoothies, and 64 ounces for someone like me or my boyfriend Cash, who's 210, 15 pounds, 64 ounces is pretty much our standard size sometimes for a smoothie or for liquid. So I do really appreciate the large container size. This is what the plunger looks like. So if something ever gets stuck in here, you can add the plunger in and move things around so that it blends a lot more easily. You can also use this machine to chop up vegetables. You can adjust the speed with this button right here. Also, the Ascent series was also designed in mind with the intention of being able to detach the container on top, but also use other accessories or other appliances kind of like this that you could add on top, and it would work with all of them. An example of this would be their new food processor attachment that just came out that works with this exact same base. How cool is that? I just got the new food processor attachment. I'm so excited to give it a try. The food processor attachment only works with the Ascent series base. It does not work with any of the other bases or even the older reconditioned model bases. Bigger container means bigger blade, which I am assuming means that it will pulverize things a little bit more easily. That is something we're gonna find out today. The 5 program settings included on the Ascent series panel is for smoothies, hot soups, dips and spreads, frozen desserts, and self-cleaning. It will automatically adjust to the container size you've selected, and then when you process your recipes, it'll stop the blender when it's complete. It also has a built-in wireless connectivity that will allow the Ascent series blenders to evolve with the latest innovations for years to come, aka the food processor attachment. It also has a programmable timer, built-in wireless connectivity, and it pairs with any self-detect containers. Ultimately, the A3500 can make smoothies, dressings, dips, can grind grains, it can make hot soups, it can chop vegetables, you can make juices, nut milks, and so much more. So that was my first visual breakdown of the A3500. Now let's move to the new Vitamix ONE. There are so many noticeable differences between the new Vitamix ONE and the Ascent A3500. But let's start with the most noticeable difference that I think is a huge factor here. This blender is $400 less expensive than this blender, and it can do almost everything that this blender can do apart from 3 things. Those 3 things include it cannot make hot soups, it cannot grind grains, and it cannot make nut butters. Another noticeable difference is that this machine is way more compact. It fits under any countertop pretty much. It is lightweight when compared to the A3500. There is only one main button here at the bottom base, essentially to turn it on, to turn it up to any speed that you would like to turn it to. The container is a 32-ounce container compared to the 64-ounce container on the A3500. It also comes with a smaller blade on the inside. Like I said before, it is a lot more lightweight and way more compact. Me just having been introduced to this blender, I have to say that I do love the design. It brings up for me this nostalgia of perhaps having taken an old school blender but given it this really cool modern look, and I actually really love it. I could very easily see myself traveling with this because it is so lightweight. It would be extremely easy to bring this with you and to make smoothies in your hotel room or in an Airbnb. This is just that kind of blender. Also, knowing that this is a Vitamix blender, I know that there's some horsepower in this motor, which means I know that it will produce quality because Vitamix has shown me that time and time again. I'm excited to give it a try. I'm guessing that Vitamix is calling this the One because it does everything apart from the 3 things I mentioned before, which is hot soups, grains, and nut butters, but that it's in a more affordable price range than the Ascent series. This blender is a lot more compact, and yes, it does have a smaller container, but I also think that's a part of its draw, essentially, because this blender is perfect for people who are looking to jumpstart their lifestyle, looking to start their journeys to getting healthier, to go raw vegan more, or even for just some people who are looking for something that can do everything, but it's not as big, bulky, or expensive as the A3500. That's just my take, that's just my observation. The Vitamix ONE can make delicious smoothies, sauces, dips, frozen treats, purees, and frozen desserts. For those of you who will be asking about the product specifications, the dimensions are 8 by 7 by 16 inches. So it's 16 inches tall, 8 inches across. It's 6.25 pounds, It has a Triton container, ABS base and knob, and it has a 2-year warranty. For those of you who will be asking about the specifications of the A3500, I have them right here. The dimensions are, it is 11 by 8 by 17 inches, so it's 17 inches tall, 11 inches across. It's 120 volts, around 15 pounds. It has a 4-foot cord, and it also comes with a full 10-year warranty. A 2-year warranty versus a 10-year warranty is a big deal. However, I believe that might also be a part of the investment. You're paying $650 for this machine, 10-year warranty versus $250 for a 2-year warranty. To me, that actually makes sense. People ask me all the time, why Vitamix? Why are their blenders better than all the other blenders on the market? And my answer is their blender stands the test of time. I've been using the Vitamix blender in my kitchen for 16 years now. July will be 16 years for me. And I've started with their refurbished model years ago and then upgraded to their Ascent series model about 6-7 years ago. And I still love it. I'm still using it in my kitchen and it gives me the best results. I'm not trying to poo-poo other blenders out there, but I have tried all the other name brands that you can think of. Vitamix has always been the one that I've used in my kitchen. It can do everything. It does everything flawlessly and it yields the best quality. I really also love the fact that Vitamix started off as a small family-owned company. It's still run by the same family, but that they've really done their best to keep up with the times and to evolve and to continue to make the best products. Even after all of these years, they've taken their original model and they've only improved and built on it. I just love that. I think it's time now to put both of these blenders to work and let's see what they can really do. I'm gonna be making 2 recipes in these blenders today. The first recipe is one of my favorite sauces / dips. Now, what makes this recipe actually difficult are 3 ingredients. I've got sesame seeds, the stems of the cilantro herb, as well as grape tomatoes. Now, those 3 ingredients are actually really difficult for regular blenders to blend because the skins of the tomato takes a lot of horsepower to be able to blend up the full skin of the tomato. Otherwise, you get all of that in your dressing, in your smoothie, in your soup, whatever it is that you're trying to make. Also, it can be really challenging as well to completely pulverize the sesame seed. If you've ever had sesame seed butter or tahini, you know what a creamy nut butter is actually like. I'm gonna be blending up some sesame seeds into this sauce or dip to see how well each of these pulverizes these raw sesame seeds. And the green that I'm gonna be including in this sauce dip, little soup, this cold soup, whatever we're gonna call it, is cilantro stems. This is a tough stem for any blender to handle. Not for this machine, I already know that because I make this sauce all the time, but I'm curious to see how well the Vitamix ONE does with cilantro stems. I have the same amount of ingredients for each blender laid out in front of them. The full recipe will include 2 cups of grape tomatoes, 1/2 of 1 red bell pepper, 1/2 cup of raw unhulled sesame seeds, a small handful of cut cilantro stems, the juice of 1 lime, and a pinch of pink Himalayan salt with a little bit of black pepper. And as you can see, I am adding these ingredients into each of these containers now. So just a noticeable difference that I see after having added the ingredients here is that I still have a lot of room here, so I know this one's gonna have a much easier time blending. I am a little worried seeing that the ingredients are really high up here because I'm used to consuming larger portions, but I'm excited to see how each one of these blends the same ingredients. Normally I don't have to use the plunger for this recipe in a blender. If I do end up having to use it, I have each of the plungers available from each one of these blenders. So you can see this one came out soft, creamy, can be used as a sauce, a dip, a dressing. I love this recipe and it's blended perfect. I love this. It's perfect. The consistency is perfect. Everything about it is perfect. And it tastes so good. And now for the Vitamix ONE. Let's get started. Since I've just blended this, I do just want to say the One seems to be just a tad bit louder on the engine, but let's see how it's blended. So far, so good. I'll have to say that I think I was really impressed on how it got everything blended fairly quickly without me using the plunger. That was super impressive, and it did it fairly quickly. So you can see the texture from the A3500 is a bit more smooth than the texture from the Vitamix ONE. You can see that this one does have a bit more texture. Perhaps it didn't get as smooth, but it's pretty darn close. To somebody who wasn't looking, these would look like the exact same results. You can see a bit more color in this bowl compared to this bowl, and I think it's because this probably ground up the sesame seeds just a bit more than this one did. You can see more of an orange red in this color, and you can see more of just a regular tomato-ish kind of red here. There's definitely more of an orange yellow tint in this one, even though they were the exact same ingredients. All in all, the results are pretty much exactly the same, other than for those two minor differences. Now let's see how they taste. This recipe is so good. Oh my goodness. The sauce though, it's all about the sauce, right? Am I right? Time for the taste test now. Let's see how similar these taste. Okay. I'm gonna start off with the A3500. Gonna get myself a little dollop here. Smooth, creamy. I taste all the sesame. All the flavors just explode in your mouth. It's yummy. And I don't taste any granules or any seeds from the actual sesame seeds. I don't have any tomato skins between my teeth. Okay, so now for the Vitamix ONE sauce. Exactly the same ingredients, exactly the same recipe. Got a big dollop here. Here we go. So I have to say, they're almost exactly the same. This one is smooth, but it is not as smooth as this one. The flavor is almost exactly the same, but I taste more of the sesame tahini in the other one because it was able to grind up the seeds better, which makes sense because this machine can do nut butters and it can probably pulverize seeds a lot easier. Considering that this one can't do nut butters, it did fantastic with the seed. I do taste a lot more texture in this. It has a little bit more of like a tiny chunky consistency in there. And the flavor is still there, don't get me wrong. My taste buds are trained, right? So the average person probably would taste both of these and think they were exactly the same. I can taste a little bit of the tomato skins very finely. No cilantro strings whatsoever. Ultimately, they're almost the same, other than for the fact that this one just has a few more granules than this one. This one is a tad bit smoother. This one has a tad bit more flavor. But ultimately, if we're talking about a $400 difference, this is impressive. This is really impressive. And both recipes taste amazing, by the way. All right, it's time for round 2, and we're making banana ice cream. Blending up frozen fruits, especially frozen bananas, is something not every regular blender can handle. And I have found that only Vitamix blenders can do this task without burning out. There's actually a special feature built into Vitamix blenders where it will shut itself down automatically before it burns out to protect you from having a broken machine and from having to replace it. I've definitely reached that point several times with this blender, and I'm not sure about this blender yet, but we'll find out. Making banana ice cream is one of the more difficult tasks to do in a blender, but I know this blender can handle it, so I'm excited to see what the Vitamix ONE can do today as well. Each blender is going to get 6 frozen apple bananas, which are very creamy, thick bananas that we grow here in Hawaii. They're frozen, they're ready to go. I'm most likely gonna need to use each of the plungers for each one of these concoctions that I'm gonna be blending up. If water is needed, I have some purified water to add in just to help it out a little bit, but I'm hoping I don't have to do that today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Frozen bananas in on this one, and frozen bananas in on this one as well. Now, I know that this one actually needs some extra frozen bananas to help it blend a little bit more. My guess would be that this one probably does better with smaller batches since it's a smaller size container, but I could be proved wrong. Let the banana and ice cream begin. Let's see how this does. All right. Holy moly, it looks so good. All right, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into this real quick. Check out this perfect consistency. Now see, I've done this a million times in this blender, so the comparison might not be that fair because I already know that this ice cream comes out to be perfect, right? I can go ahead and just show you a huge, like, beautiful chunk of banana and ice cream right here, right? I mean, just look at this. Perfectly smooth, perfectly creamy. You could put it in an ice cream scoop and it would last in a cone. Wouldn't melt. It's perfect. Just look at this. The best part about this is that you just made an ice cream with one ingredient. There's no other processed ingredients in it, no extra added sugar. It's raw, it's vegan, it's so good for you, and it is so simple to make. It's not a fancy bowl or anything, but you can obviously see the consistency and the texture of this banana ice cream and how perfectly formed this is. Just to show you the consistency right here, you can actually see the smoothness. Look at this. This is a perfect banana ice cream bowl, right? You could easily put this into a serving bowl, you could make this into a smoothie bowl, add whatever toppings you'd like, but it's perfect banana ice cream. Look at that. It's amazing. I love this right here. I know I did not do this in a fancy bowl or anything like that, but the purpose is to show you the texture, the consistency, and how easily it did. So now onto the Vitamix ONE. Let's make some ice cream. Uh-oh. Well, like I said before, it turns itself off to protect itself from burning out. But luckily, it looks like it did a pretty good job before it shut itself down. So let's see what we've got. The consistency and the texture looks spot on with the other blender. So now let's go ahead and pour it into our bowl. It is a bit more challenging, in my opinion, to get things squeezed out of smaller spaces. Texture and the consistency looks exactly the same. Because it is a more vertical funnel in this container than the other one has a lot more space near the blade. The banana ice cream near the blade on this one is a lot softer and better blended, whereas on the other one, I think it was better blended all around. So you can see in this one, the banana ice cream, the texture is the same. I have one unblended banana right here that you can see that did not get blended, but that's probably because the machine turned itself off before I got there. But as you can tell, the texture, the consistency, everything looks pretty much exactly the same as this other one right here. Ladies and gentlemen, banana ice cream. I am still pretty impressed. Honestly, everything is the same. I'm so impressed. The Vitamix ONE did just as good of a job. The only downside of it is it did shut down on me right before I wanted it to finish blending. All in all, you guys, I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed. Normally this machine does the trick for all banana ice creams for me, but seeing that this one was able to do the exact same job is so impressive. It's incredible, actually. Now, the only downside of this was this one did shut down on itself, right? So imagine if it had done that just a little bit earlier, I might not have ended up with some banana and ice cream, but luckily it was able to make the ice cream before it shut itself down. Tomato, bell pepper, sesame sauce, check. Banana and ice cream, check, check. All in all, me being super honest, I have to tell you, both of these are amazing blenders. Really amazing blenders. Now, I came in super biased because this has been my favorite blender forever, almost. But this one comes in with a close second. And if I were going to rate these, I would say that this is like the superstar A++, just because it does more. And even though it is more expensive, the extra price is justified because you do get what you pay for and so much more. If this is an A++, I would still give this one an A. Now, there are a few things about it that make it not my favorite blender of all time, but it might make it your favorite blender. For instance, I really like having a bigger container because I drink a lot of smoothies and I like larger volume portions at my meals. I also like to make my own nut butters and warm soups in my Vitamix, and so this might not be that machine for you, but if that's the case, you still have this one. But let's say that you're just looking for a blender that does it all, still has good quality, and is comparable to this one, which is their top of the top. The Vitamix ONE does it for you, and it's still $400 less expensive. It's compact, you can travel with it. I guarantee you I'm gonna have a blast with this blender. I'm gonna be traveling with it. I'm gonna be using it in different ways that I can't use this blender. There is also that one point that this one shut down a little bit sooner when making banana ice cream than this one did. So for me, that tells me that the motor on this one is more powerful, justifiably so. This is a more expensive machine, it's heavier, probably has more horsepower in it. If you're looking to make juices, smoothies, dips, sauces, purees, some frozen treats, this machine will do it for you and it will save you money. It's lightweight and it'll be easy to store in your kitchen. If you're more experienced in the kitchen and you want to have a machine that does it all, you want to do soups, smoothies, dips, sauces, dressings, purees, nut butters, nut milks, grinding your own grains, hot soups, all of the above, along with the ability to use other attachments with this, like the food processor and other upcoming fun gadgets that might be included, then this is the one for you. Not to omit the fact that this one has a 2-year warranty, this one has a 10-year warranty. Both of them yielded an amazing texture, consistency. They both did a great job, but since I was comparing very specific recipes, this one did give a smoother consistency and was able to break down those sesame seeds just a tad bit better. A few more minor things to note. This machine is noticeably louder than this machine. Also, this one only has one knob, which you can adjust yourself. The A3500 has an electronic touch panel with wireless capabilities, and you get to not only adjust your speed, but have different settings that allow you to walk away and then come back to the blender. So which one is the best blender? In my opinion, they both are for the price ranges that they fall in. If they were both at a similar price range, this would be a little different. But because they both fall in different price ranges and the website clearly states that they have different things that they're able to do, I think that they're both the best in each one of their categories, right? Obviously, this one has more capabilities and it's more expensive and comes with a larger warranty. So ultimately, this one is better long-term and can do more. But within its price range, this one's amazing as well. For what it can do and for what Vitamix says it can do, I will go ahead and put my badge of approval on it that it's probably the best of the best out there compared to other blenders that I've seen that have been similar priced to this one. For those of you who are interested in checking out these blenders and possibly giving them a chance in your kitchen, please check out the links in the description below. I've included a link for the Vitamix ONE as well as the Ascent series. I've also even included a link for those of you who want to get a refurbished model of this one. You can get $100 off of it. For anybody who uses my specific links in the description below, you'll also get a special discount at checkout. You'll see it pop up at checkout. And for orders of $50 and more, you'll get free shipping as well. If you've liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button because there's only more to come. I really loved making this video for you, so please also let me know your thoughts, your comments below. If you're a fan of Vitamix, if you've used both of these blenders, I would love to see your feedback as well. Obviously, I've been in the kitchen for about 16 years doing this, but I always learn from your comments and from your experience and feedback as well. So I'll be looking forward to reading your comments. For those of you looking for some raw vegan recipes, please download my Fully Raw Recipe app. There's more than 450 raw vegan recipes in my app for you. It's available on iTunes and Google Play. The initial download is free, and then once you give it a download, you can choose between a monthly and a yearly subscription. All those links are below for you, and enjoy. All right, everyone, I have some fun videos coming up after this one. We have a farm update, we have a juice cleanse challenge coming soon, we have a microgreens video coming as well, and so much more, so please stay tuned. Thank you all so much for being here with me. Sending you my hugs and my love, and I'll see you in my next video.